Hi, this is Tolec for the Andromeda Council and Transformational Shift Events. Hello, everyone. It is very early March 2019, and I'm honored to have with me as guests today two very good friends of mine, two very gifted, talented women, Adana of Star Ancestry. Adana, hi, how are you?
I am doing fine. I'm doing really great. How about you, Tolec?
I'm good. Life has been very, very busy. And, and as I know you know that. Also with us is Cheyenne Stone, who is at this, not this very moment, but within the coming days and weeks, will be producing a brand new website because of the work that she's about to embark on called soulevolve.com. Hi, Cheyenne.
Hi, Tolec. Hi, Donna.
Hi, Cheyenne.
So, we were kind of catching up as the prelude to this conversation, and as almost always happens, some of the really good content happens off microphone. So I figured I'd better turn the microphone on, the sooner the better. Because we were starting to talk about the evolution of this, not only this galaxy, but Adana, you said that, we've got this solar system, other planets in this galaxy, other star systems that are evolving. And I wanted to kick off this conversation by talking about the physicality of one of the, I'll call it an artificial body in our solar system that we call the moon. And Sister Adana, you are quite aware of the fact that the moon was hauled here by reptilians a long, long time ago and was plopped down next to the Earth as an operational control device and a viewing station and also a way to manipulate people from Earth. Does that kind of make sense given what we've talked about over the years?
Yes, Tolec, very much so. It's interesting how we have finally come to this point in receiving information as to understand better what is happening to humanity and why it took them so long to get to this point of seeing the truth, if you will. It has been a long time coming in terms of awakening humanity to realize that we are not alone in the universe and that we have been controlled by certain ET groups for their own agenda. The moon has been brought here by the reptilians, and Soltar, who happens to be the commander, within the Andromeda Council, have told me that the Draco star system have built this hollowed moon, if you will, that looks like a rock on the outside. But actually, they built it for a reason to program certain species into what they want them to be and what they control them to be to perform certain duties for them. So
Yeah.
over the centuries here on Earth, I mean, you're talking millions of years. Off and on, the reptilians have come in and out of this planet, even though we think that, it may be 100,000 years ago or maybe 500,000 years ago. What in reality is that they have been here a long time, and human beings gradually evolved over a period of time. As each shifting occurred, each manifestation of humanity evolves. So now what is going on with the moon is that they have shut down, and I mean there are good ETs that have shut down some of their operations on the moon. There are still some underground facilities that are still in operation on a smaller scale, not on a larger scale. So there's still some ETs, what I call the bad guys, whether it's reptilians or greys or any other ETs that are not for the good of humanity, is still operating underground.
But it's my understanding that based on what the I think was the people, the Procyon star system of the Andromeda Council, back at the end of 2012, they took out for this 13 different bases from Schwarzschild, Hippocrates, Birkhoff, Cantor, Mare, Moscovians, and a bunch of others, all on the backside of the moon.
That's right. That's right. And most people don't see the backside of the moon. Isn't that interesting? That they only show one side of the moon. And one side of the moon stays that way around the Earth. Yeah. And so they don't see the backside of the moon. And the backside of the moon is where all the activities,
where all those bases used to be.
Right, where all the bases used to be. And in today's world, most people think that the moon is like what you see the moon is, grayish, white. Not true. There are some bases that have had, greenhouse. I would call it greenhouse effect.
Oh, okay.
That will have plants and animals. You know, they have it in contained areas, but it's never been shown. It's been blocked out of the pictures, especially by those who have traveled around the moon. So this is actually, as you have said at the beginning, artificial moon. What's going to happen now is that once all of humanity goes through the process of awakening and the reunion between the star families and Earth people, that moon will be removed from Earth's gravity. It's going to change to where Earth no longer has need for that, for the moon. It's hard to explain because I keep seeing two suns shining on Earth.
No, it's interesting that you mentioned this because, and Cheyenne, feel free to jump in whenever you have something to contribute. But I've heard, not so recently, but I've heard that we are actually a binary star system. And the process of this solar system traveling through space, I may not say this quite correctly, but we are going to, as these changes continue to happen within our solar system, we are going to be able to see this, whether it's a giant dwarf or a smaller star, we're going to be able to see this second star, this if you will, binary star.
That's exactly what Soltar is talking about, that there is a second star, and that that people are going to be able to see as they evolve into that. The moon will be gone.
Yeah, last time we talked about this, I think he said they were basically going to bust it up into pieces and then haul off the major sections to some far distant corner of the universe.
Wherever that, they'll be taken out of here, so that they will no longer be active in manipulating humanity.
You know, it's my understanding that the moon also has no magnetic field. And if the magnetic field helps to magnify some of the good energies coming in, isn't it possible that if the moon's up there, whatever energies are coming from the area in our solar system on the other side of the moon, couldn't that moon be blocking some energies, trying to wash over this planet?
Yes and no. Okay, I'll give it a yes first. Is that there are certain fraction of the moon that blocks off that energy. And no refers to the fact that our benevolent ETs are not going to allow that to happen. So there's two things going on, but they have to do it gradually to block it off. So block the moon off, if you will, so the energies can flow into the earth. The small group of people on the moon are realizing that they're not going to be able to control the effects of the energies coming in.
Yeah, I'm not surprised that we, at this moment in 2019, their own ability to direct the populace of Earth with whatever technologies they were using and or beaming to this planet, that their ability to continue to do that is waning and going away.
Right. The technology they have now is much, much smaller, if you will. That's what Soltal is showing me. It's much, much smaller, so it doesn't have that much of an effect. So they're realizing this, and
let me guess, the amount of higher frequencies that are washing over Earth far surpass whatever they were using on the moon?
The energies, the higher energies will go over, and we will receive that energy. What they're telling me is that the only way I can explain it in the images he's showing me is that because they have very little effect of their technology, the greater effect of blocking the moon from whatever juice they have left of their technology cannot affect the Earth. So he said that it's reaching the point now that it's not affecting the people anymore, because the people are receiving such higher vibrations that it doesn't affect them at all. What is affecting them now in terms of energies is the fact that we're changing. And that's what people don't understand, that they're going through that.
They need our help. I mean, this is why it's so important that those of us receiving this information, if I can jump in here.
Please.
Speak. Everywhere I went today, everywhere, whether it was the waiter at the restaurant or the gal sitting next to me or, total strangers all day long today, were in some level of awakening. And were interacting with me on their own accord as if they seem to be receiving those messages. This woman's further up the road. She knows something. She can help me find more information because something's going on and it ain't on my TV screen. Yeah, it ain't on the glass baby bottle that I've been sucking on. So People are turning it off. Even a couple that came in and engaged me while I was waiting for my car to have its 100,000 mile maintenance, 100,000 years.
Yeah, that's your other ship.
That too, yeah. I'm getting ready for a walkabout, so I was, getting all the stuff done today. So even this couple, I just now realized as Donna was talking, quote, Joe Sixpack, everybody's waking up and they're going, oh, we turned off the TV a long time ago. We figured out that was all nonsense, this year or whatever. So they're looking and they're asking, who do I listen to? Who can I trust? How do I know what I can trust? And what's this thing going on inside of me? They all seem to know something was happening within themselves, but they don't know where to find the answers, and they're looking.
Well, that's kind of interesting, Cheyenne, that you talked about this, because I just experienced this yesterday and today with not knowing that the interactions that I will have with the younger couple and a lady that's in our age group, each has their own reactions of, like you said, I want to know more. Where can I find this? I need to talk to you, and I'm like, wow. I'm in an area where I thought that there would be, I don't know, not that many people awakened because of the belief systems in the area. But I was wrong, because I found out the reason why I'm here in this location, so they can find me, so they can get the answers that they need to move on, to evolve, just like Cheyenne said.
Yeah, and yet, so it's just for clarification, you are in the Bible Belt South, deep in the heart of Texas. People are waking up. Cheyenne and I are sitting in the state of Arizona. More people are waking up. And I would imagine that those people who are choosing to turn off their televisions and or the news, specifically mainstream media, the commercials, pharmaceuticals, all that stuff, the more they shut that down, the more that they themselves will open up and start asking some pretty serious questions.
They're seeking at a level I've never seen, which is, to me, evidence. Obviously, it's not a scientific study, but it's evidence that this is not just, Tolec and Adana, we know there's science, long-term scientific material. I can rattle off professors and institutes and give you where to find the real data on climate, electromagnetic fields, the moon, all of this.
Right.
However, and you won't find it on lamestream media. But my point is, these people, even though they don't have the books on the shelf, they don't have the research and the telepathic communications with the guys upstairs yet, they know something's happening, and they're seeking. They're seeking for, I have to heal myself. I'm going to learn how to heal myself. I have to reconnect with who I really am, my authentic self. This is not my authentic self. I need my authentic self to reconnect with me and to live in this world and in this life and raise my children and have this earth experience. Yeah. So they know. They're turning off their televisions. They're unplugging. Some of them are going on the internet, and they're just, which is also a landmine. You got to be aware of that. But I've been all over the country last year flying. This year, I am doing it again, this time by vehicle. And when I was at my level 1 training with Peter Woodbury at the Edgar Cayce Institute last October, they set a record. They'd never sold so many seats to the room, to the certification, which is, I did a 46-hour regression hypnosis certification. I went to Asheville to do a demonstration of energy healing with a practitioner there that trained in some of the modalities I've trained in. And I met stockbrokers, bankers, engineers who are leaving their professions to become Reiki masters or energy workers or some type of spiritual guide, coach, healer. It's everywhere I'm going. And now it's showing up on Main Street, at the bank, in the restaurant, while I'm waiting on my car, at the dealership. It's amazing. It's exciting. But it also says we got work to do, guys. We got to get information out for people so that they can. I mean, to a degree, we need to. We don't have to, but if you have a message, if you have a healing gift, if you have a musical gift, a teacher gift, of teaching the young ones, whatever your gifts are, don't hide it under a rock. This is our time. This is our time now. I'm very encouraged to hear you say that you're not only having this experience isolated here in the state of Arizona, but as you traveled the country last year. Now, I want to take into account the fact that Asheville is probably one of the more enlightened and awakened communities, Asheville, North Carolina, on the Eastern Seaboard. So, you have that community, but you traveled the country last year extensively, and you were from Chicago, West Coast, the southwestern states, North Carolina, Virginia, several cities in Virginia, and
pretty conservative state,
the middle of the country, right up the middle, driving through Oklahoma, Missouri. I met amazing people everywhere I've been. And, but the energy in 2019, the questions and statements people are making. And, I realize again, this is, you can't, this is not evidence I could admit in a courtroom, but it's different. It's different.
Kind of like somebody didn't flip on the light switch for a room, but for a whole building. As a metaphor.
Yes. Yeah. And the mansion metaphor is a good one. I'll share that another time. But people are realizing there's more rooms in the house.
And I shared this with Donna recently. Even she didn't know this. It was one of those really moments. I found out toward the end of 2018, within the past 3 to 4 months. And to make a long story short, there was a survey done in the state of Texas in the general Dallas area. And the survey essentially asked this question. If my memory is correct, I think they queried 500 people. And the question was as follows, and I'm paraphrasing based on what I heard. Do you feel that it is likely, again, I'm paraphrasing, do you feel it is likely that we are not the only intelligent species, beings in the universe, that there's a universe full of intelligent life? Now, as Don has said from time to time, sis, you live in the Bible Belt South. Certainly the state of Texas is part of the greater Bible Belt. The answer that came back was, I believe, 95% of the people queried in the greater Dallas area said, yes, we believe that we're not alone and that there's likely a universe teeming with intelligent life. Now, that's a pretty serious departure from what the Bible Belt used to be as a representative of conservative thought. And how people would react to UFOs, to ETs. So we're talking, the tail end of 2018 that this survey was done. That's a pretty high statistic by any measure. It's one thing if they did that survey in Arizona or California, Oregon, or Washington. I'd expect a result like that. But Dallas, Texas, So
Yeah, it's amazing. And I have Tolec, can I go back to the moon for just a second? I
yeah,
wanted to ask
please.
Adana a question because she is so perfectly plugged in with Commander and others upstairs.
Yes.
Um, I know that everything in this reality happens for us, not to us. So I'm kind of at that point in my spiritual journey where I like to paint pictures like that. But I also know that everybody has, including these entities of various interstellar sources, um, have variations on the theme of duality, malevolent, benevolent. I find some of the reports from people that I find very credible about things that have gone on our moon, on hidden places on our moon, perhaps hidden under hologramic visual blocking, or actually on the far side of the moon. It's not a dark side, by the way, in spite of popular media.
Right.
I find some of those stories very disturbing if it's true that breakaway factions or legitimate, illegitimate, but
There you go.
regulated parts of military organizations or other organizations, some of the stories coming out about things being done on and in bases, including regressing or removing somebody's memory of those events or attempting to remove their memory, in typical slave factory type scenarios or worse.
Are you thinking about some of the people who were in the Mars 20 and back programs? Those guys?
Well, or whoever's report. I mean, this is not a new thing to be discussed. As some people think, since I don't want to say the brand name, but that TV syndicate has come out with, some of the spokespersons about Mars and Moon. I'm just curious from Adana and what she gets from upstairs. Were there humans involved in any type of trafficking or misuse of humans against their will on the moon? And if so, has that also been squelched or dealt with in a rigorous fashion?
Okay, in answer to your question, yes. There has been agreement made between the factions, the military, the elite group, the ETs. I will do this for you, you do this for me. That's the type of agreement that was made a long time ago. The realism of it is very in-depth in terms of what has happened to the human trafficking, if you will, of souls of people that have been chosen primarily by the elite group of people to partake of the slave route, if you will. And yes, the memories have been suppressed, regressed. They are pretty much under their control. And this is one of the things that the Procyon people, along with their technology, also with the mental expertise of the ETs that come together to either help them return to their own minds, so to speak, And to those who are so far gone, because if they have been under their control for so many years, it's in a natural state of being. Therefore, these people have to be taken aboard a special hospital craft to slowly use the technology that can slowly
deprogram.
Right, exactly. Thank you, Tolec. Deprogram them, because you don't want them to get into a shock, and that's what they don't want. That's what our hospital people, ET hospital personnel, don't want happen to these people.
If I may for a moment, I have a question, which, as long as we're on this topic, it's irrelevant. Adana, do you feel that there is some larger percentage of both human trafficking as well as human child sex slave trafficking that has not only been perpetuated on this planet for certain groups of people and individuals, but that there are some of these human slaves and sex trafficked slaves? Is it possible that there's a large percentage of them that have been taken off planet to serve the agendas of these definitely not benevolent people, human and or otherwise?
Well, Sultan told me yes, that has occurred. Not as many as it was before, only because of Drama Council and other high councils have acted upon putting a stop to this. So you're right in that there was a large group of people that were taken off roll to serve them. It's not a pretty sight, I will tell you that. It's horrible to see what they're going through, and they're powerless, they're helpless, they can't do anything, they can't escape. And this is one of the things that Drumlin Council is not happy about, and they put their heads together with the best team of extraterrestrials from other worlds, other star systems, to come together and to put an end to this type of, I don't know what to say. It's just this type of scenario that's happening.
Well, just for those people that live in Arizona, just as an offshoot of this conversation, since we're here, I was blessed recently to meet and have had evolving conversations with a young woman by the name of Savannah Sanders. And on the evening of Friday night, March 15th, Savannah, who is the author of Sex Trafficking Prevention, a Trauma-Informed Approach for Parents and Professionals. She's a young woman, I want to say 33, 34-ish, who very young in her life was sex trafficked as a human slave. She's come out of it. She's getting her master's in social work and therapy, and she's been speaking both nationally and internationally quite a bit over the past year and a half. And so we're going to be blessed to have her at our once monthly Sedona Close Encounter meeting on Friday night, March 15th. For anybody that's in state, I'm sure she's going to be telling her own fascinating story and the proactive efforts of teaching education, both for professionals and for parents, to help them to understand the signs when they see some things are not going right with their children, how they can help, nip it in the bud. But I hadn't quite thought of this topic until this moment in terms of, we know about a large percentage of children that have gone missing for years. The whole child human trafficking issue has come up, and pedophilia has come up in the past year and a half or so. It's a big issue, but not until this conversation had I thought about it as being, I wonder how many of those children are just not here. They're human and sex trafficked. They've been taken off the planet, and they're serving some groups of people even off planet.
Well, and I can't speak for David Pilates, but I have heard many interviews of Missing 411. And every time I hear one of those stories, for the ones that they never find, it seems, the pattern that he studies in these events, which are in our beautiful state or national parks, typically, but not only, but typically, they're either highly educated, young, just out of college or still in college with specific educational backgrounds.
Wow.
Or they're very young, but past, potty training, like 5, 7, 8. And he's got statistics on it. He's written so many books on this, but he doesn't ever come out and say what he thinks it is. But it seems to me something is awry, and it's happening right under our noses. Almost every time one of these children are yanked, or one of these young people, it's as if it happens in a blink of an eye with people all around, and the circumstances are so bizarre. And one of the thoughts I always have is this part of an underground or over our heads program that they're looking for specific profiles of either educated, and we'll convince them that it's the best thing to save Earth or save humanity that they have to come and work for us, or and it reminds me of that, what was that agenda, that series that people talk about, that it was like a documentary I think it came out in the 80s, about, the Earth is going to suffer a catastrophe, a nuclear war or whatever, and we have to get off planet. And they were convincing all these young, educated college students that they had to join in this mission. And it was secretive. They just basically walked away, didn't tell their parents anything, left their stuff in their apartments, and just walked away. And now, you don't hear that story. You just hear about they're gone, disappeared right under somebody's nose. And it seems to me that they fit a profile of either someone young, I don't need to nurse them, I don't have to wipe their bottoms, they're out of diapers, but young enough that you could reprogram them to grow up in that society, right, and forget your, like you think about the early Western United States when the colonists were infiltrating the wildlands where it was native populations, and maybe the wagon train took on fire and the adults all died and the children became part of the tribe. The white children would become part of the European children would become part of a Native American tribe. You hear these stories. It's almost like that. Let's get those children that we don't have to nurse them and change their diaper. That's too labor intensive. But they're past that emotional development. Grab them now and we'll reprogram them. I mean, those are the thoughts I have, which sounds kind of dark, but if these bases are still operating, and I have any influence at all to call the big guns in from the guys that love us,
the good
let's
guys,
make something happen, because obviously this is beyond our ability. Yeah. One of David's complaints was that they weren't even, and he's a retired police officer, I think a detective, they weren't even keeping records of how many people are missing. There's no database. Let's say for Yellowstone National Park, there's no database.
I would go on to say that, and sister, I'd like to hear from you on this one. I believe that they're not only profiling, but as Adana and I have talked about in the past, each human soul fractal that inhibits, sorry, I said this wrong, that if you will, manages and operates a human body, the fractal that operates my Tolec body, the fractal that operates Adana's body, etc., to give it life and sentience. Each one of these soul fractals has, if you will, a digital signature. I believe there's probably, as you said, Cheyenne, a range of a profile, and they being malevolent people who want to use the gifts and skills of certain of these children, young adult that can be reprogrammed, that they are able to track their digital signatures. And the ones that they really want, they grab them early. They know exactly who they are. They know exactly who they are. And is that, Donna, does any of that ring true at all?
Absolutely, absolutely. What you have given in terms of greater understanding about this, yes. Very much so.
It's I know it's sort of a left turn in our discussion about the evolution of the human on planet Earth, but it shows that we're still in this duality of people having an agenda, which doesn't matter where the rights of others are. They've got an agenda, they're just going to execute it. Cheyenne, go ahead.
Oh, I wanted to ask, still in the field and it's tangential to what we've been talking about, but the moon and its influence, we've been told, those of us educated, I should say schooled, those of us schooled in, Western educational systems or institutions, I guess is a better word, that the moon is, without the moon, there would be no life on our planet. There would be no, atmosphere and cycles for everything from weather to women's menses and procreation. How much propaganda have we been submitted to as far as the moon goes, and what are some of your thoughts about what it's really been influencing versus what we're told it does? I'm just curious, and I'm not trying to demonize the moon. I'm just curious what we can look forward to. Will it be in our lifetime, a transition? Obviously, there's been a shift in human consciousness at a gentle since I've been tracking it and observing the human psyche, it seems to be gentle but accelerating over a period of time from the messages I get, Adana, in a way that humans won't self-destruct on the frequencies, right? The good juice, the good frequencies. But in other words, the revealing of truth within ourselves, because, right, we are that hologram incarnate of the creation and creator. And so as we are revealed to our authentic self versus a projection outward instead of the authentic self, detachment from the authentic self has been the program, right? Look under the Christmas tree for the present. Forget about your inner presence, which was what we should have been teaching our children, that right. Convert your consciousness and your perception outward instead of inward. Look outside yourself for the problem and solution. That turning back inward can be very volatile. So I know from the guys upstairs that they've been making adjustments as they have been doing cleanup of bases and technologies that have been influencing human perception and consciousess. What do you think? What do you think about some of the stories we were told about the moon? And my native family, I'm half Native American. My Native ancestors tell me they're in their oral traditions, there was a time without the moon.
Yes.
So I'm just curious what some of the things are that you might want to assure people to. There's no fear needed here, you know.
Donna?
I can give you some feedback on that. It's interesting you brought that up, Cheyenne, in terms of what we have been taught as children, that the moon is round, that the moon is a rock, that the moon gives light at night, the sun bright by day, the moon have gravity pulls of the tides, the low tides to the high tides. All of this has been programmed into us for centuries, long before today.
Right.
So, to me, what my understanding from our star people is that they started us out with the chosen leaders, elite groups they left behind to say, I want you to do this and this and this and this, and this is the way it's going to be. And so down through the centuries, they had always been taught this way. Now we have technology that enable us to find out the real truth to all of this. The problem is that humanity have problems grasping the fact that, okay, the moon is there, but it's not really a moon. How do we explain that to humanity? The only thing that we can do is provide humanity with the teachings, in other words, upgrade their teachings for the education system as we know it will become obsolete. So they're going to have to catch up in terms of thousands of years of being lied to and provide them with the real information, real truth. How are they going to find that information? One thing I've learned from my star family is once you tap into your own communications within your own frequencies and your own energy patterns, your own signatures with your star families, then they're going to be able to show you by image, by pictures, by words, this is the history of this planet. This is what happened to us on this planet. And this is why we're here, to show you the way back into the truth of it all. And some people, it takes believing in themselves, knowing that they can communicate. They don't have to have a middleman to communicate with the higher realms. And there's a lot of people who are still skeptical. They understand that, because they have yet to experience what all three of us and others on the planet have already experienced in life in terms of what is out there. in terms of our communications with the universe, in terms of we're not alone, in terms of we can find that truth by tapping into the source of it all. And that takes time. And these people have been ingrained. We all have been programmed. We all have been through it. We have to decide, do we really want to continue to be controlled by program, or do we want to put an end to it? Stop the vicious circle, put an end to that chain of bondage that had kept us here, so that we can move forward and gain the freedom that we have not had for centuries. That's what it all comes down to.
Well, I agree. And I think it's one person at a time within ourselves that we declare that freedom.
Right.
And
that's right.
This is an interesting discussion. I'm sure if George Carlin were here, he would have a few things to say about humanity and how long it has been asleep.
Yes. Yes. Well,
go ahead.
I mean, it's a bigger topic, and it's not. I won't say all that I have to say on it, but this is that. It's almost as if whether you're, and I don't mean to demean or belittle the suffering of those who are paying some of the ultimate prices for these conflicts, these age-old conflicts, and the players, I'll call them, in the theater of conflict and duality. But I think everybody here has paid some price and knows the suffering that we've paid. But there's some others pay even higher prices while they're in their physical bodies. Luckily, we're infinite beings, and this is not all there is. And so everybody on this planet, and you can argue this one, but I can show you many sources of and evidence that what I'm about to say could be perceived accurately. We're all in some form of amnesia, collective and unconscious. We're all in some form of Stockholm syndrome, and we're all in some form of hypnagogic programming. And for those of us who gain the tools to help ourselves and others to release those invisible chains from our conscious and our unconscious psyches, it's sometimes difficult and painful, but it can be done.
Very well said. Very well said.
It's an interesting posit, because if each of us acted on the knowledge that the three of us have here, and we decided to collaborate and, for lack of better words, join forces, wouldn't there be an active evolution with an R in front of it in this country today and across the planet? Because collectively, individually and collectively, we would say, I am not going to tolerate being controlled or manipulated anymore. I am not going to tolerate being lied to. I am not going to be. I am not going to allow an alleged government or governments to financially create our own life track as slaves. We would just, as many before us have said, throw the bastards out. I mean, we would turn this thing upside down.
Well, I'll give you an example. I'll say something revolutionary. If every American woke up tomorrow and decided to quit paying the extortion fee to the Federal Reserve, which is
Reserve.
not federal and has no reserves.
That's correct. It isn't. It's yeah,
And we
that's
all pay that extortion fee to stay out of a cage. But let's just say we all stop paying it tomorrow. How many cages do you think they have? It takes 7 human beings to imprison one. Did you know that? To build, house, feed, maintain a human being in prison takes 7 other human beings.
Jeez.
In other words, darkness only has deception. So the chains that bind us are invisible, and we surrender to them.
We allow them. Yeah.
That's right. We surrender to them. Hook, line, and sinker.
Well,
yeah.
One of us would have to come up with another method of currency for the exchange of goods instead of this worthless debt paper. Because every time I pass a piece of debt paper to somebody else, I incur an interest payment to the Federal Reserve Agency for their ability to print and distribute debt paper. It's not right. Most people don't realize that the statement on a bill that says this note is good for all debts, public and private, that the legal definition of a note is debt paper.
You know, I'm going to give away my age here a little bit, but my grandfather and grandmother raised me. And he was actually from the generation that he still had silver certificates in the drawer.
Yes. Backed by silver.
Backed by silver.
In
it
the
was
days
not
when
a debt, and it didn't have an eye on a pyramid
right.
on it.
Yeah. Back in the days when you could walk into that institution called a bank and turn in that paper for silver. Those days are gone. It's this, Donna, I want to bring this conversation back out both to a macrocosm perspective and a cosmic perspective. We as a race of diversified humans from different galaxies and star systems inhabiting human bodies on this planet, isn't this sort of like our 6th go around in terms of, okay, here's your chance. You have a moment to evolve. It's my understanding we've kind of been here collectively like 6 times before, but this 7th time is different because of a number of factors, including the energies that this solar system is experiencing as it travels through this area of space. Am I saying that accurately? Is our transformation going to happen this time, as we've been told by our higher dimensional star family members?
Absolutely correct. It will happen this time because the excitement that I have seen and felt from our star families regarding to this transformation, they are very excited in the fact that humanity, they said, for the first time, will have this transformation. In other words, they say it's about time for it to happen.
I'm just curious. What is different this time at iteration number 7? So here we are on our 7th opportunity to make this higher dimensional shift. What's different this time in the way that it's happening as compared to the prior 6 times? And we probably would have to go back hundreds and hundreds of thousands of years to the very earliest humanity on this world.
Right now, humanity, according to the readout from the ship's computers, the saturation of the energy pattern that had been coming into this planet and the effects on all life forms that exist on this planet. Soltard was giving me a percentage of 75 to 80% of the life forms, energy patterns have changed. They're seeing the reconstruction of the whole makeup of humanity, the planet, the animal kingdom. Everything is changing. Everything is moving a lot faster this time around. And it would be the last time around for this planet for it to happen to, because of the way the energies are coming in. So this is why the excitement on the other dimensions of extraterrestrials from different star systems coming here to see the birthing of a new life, new people, new planets, new animals. Everybody's going to evolve. And there are some of us right now are going through what they call prototype. There are some of us that are on the planet right now that can feel the shifting in their bodies. They can sense things are different. Everything is more colorful, more sensitive to sounds, more seeing manifestations appearing before them out of the blue, so to speak. It's kind of like, I love this. I can't help it but give this example of a time when Tolec, when you and I and Karen went up that mountain.
Oh, Mount Lemon, Tucson.
Remember, the Sasquatch appeared.
Yes.
In the valley. And I'm looking at the Sasquatch, and he was huge. He was like about 10 foot tall. He was white color Sasquatch. All of a sudden appeared to my eyes, to my vision. And not only in the spiritual eye, but actually in the physical eyes, with my physical eyes. And I'm going, wow. So we get off the mountain after we had ice cream, and I'm saying to myself, I'm wondering if the Sasquatch is going to appear again for me. Sure enough, he materialized. He waved his hands, and I waved my hand back at him, looking at him through the back window of the car. It's that type of experience that people will have. And do not be afraid of this experience, because it's a wonderful experience to have, to know that you're able to see into the other dimension when you normally have not seen in centuries. And so I encourage humanity to sit tight, hang on. You're going to have a ride of your life to see the wonders of the heavens open up before you on this planet. You don't have to wait until you make your transition in order to see everything like that. You can have it while you're still in your physical body. That's what they mean by the prototypes. There's those of us who have reached that level of awakening energy level and frequency level where we're compatible to where we can be able to shift into that dimension easily. Just like the Sasquatch could shift from the physical world into their dimension and back easily.
is and, I'm trying to formulate this thought as I state it. Is this due to each person's commitment or dedication to what might be called awakening, higher consciousness, taking personal steps, personal improvement techniques that are what we would call spiritual in nature? Or is this also happening because, this may be a rhetorical question, but I'll keep going because I want to hear your thoughts, both of you, because of this, again, our star family, the people of the Andromeda Council, the ones that we know that have taught us this information for a while, have said, your solar system and your planet are traveling through an area of space that is a higher magnetics, higher vibration, higher frequency. And so more and more people are being activated. Are both true because of personal decisions and steps that people are taking, as well as the frequencies that are affecting some of us, all of us, most of us? And I want to hear from both of you on this one.
Donna, do you want to go first?
I'll just make it very brief, Cheyenne. And basically, both are correct. And I was thinking of what you can bring in, Cheyenne, in terms of the higher consciousness, how the brain, works with this, so people have a better idea of what they will experience. Because sometimes they ask me questions, how do you do that? How do you communicate telepathically? Oh, it's easy. It's like listening on the telephone.
Mm-hmm. Except with pictures. You get pictures too.
Pictures. That's right.
That's right. So I wanted to hear what you had to say about the basic teachings of what humanity can expect from experiencing that change within themselves.
It's amazing. It's amazing. So much to be gained. Well, first of all, everyone is constructed from the one divine energy of love. It really is all there is. The rest of this is a perception creation of shadows. So part of what the experience is, to make big swaths of paint with my brush here quickly.
Yes. You could be here a while.
No, I won't. I'll save that for
the conference.
Groups. Yes, the conference.
Yeah, the conference.
Everybody come see us at the conference. I have so much to tell everybody.
Yes. September.
Positive solutions.
Yes.
So with the big brush strokes, we are profound, infinite beings. We are in every cell of ourselves with all of our stories, pathetic stories, joyful stories, ecstasy stories, whatever our stories are. We're constructed of love, and we are chosen as soul evolved personalities by our Creator, and so loved in everything we do, even when we think we screwed it up and it's a poopy party. We are so loved. So part of this journey is, and I'll use a quick metaphor and then I'll keep it simple for now, and we'll expound on this with visual aids later. But part of this journey is rediscovering the profound depths and expansive depths of ourselves within that has no boundaries without. So once you go into that inner crystalline portal that is connected to all there is, and once you sit there for the first time and reacquaint yourself with who you really are, it doesn't matter if you're in the human body or you're not. You're going to find profound love with no bounds of information if you want it, power to do altruistic things for yourself, life, and others, and resources and understanding as you are ready, as is appropriate. Our cosmos, although it has been hidden behind a veil, a cheap, flimsy stage show like The Wizard of Oz, it's been hidden behind a veil. Our universe is constructed with roadmaps, signs, and radio stations beaming signals of evolutionary, spiritual, and emotional information that you can tune your station to and take a journey to yourself, to your soul, to the collective souls of all humans in a cosmic play and stage show that is beautiful. And it's designed this way. The cosmos is designed this way. All the planets that have life on them are designed this way. And what we haven't been doing is seeing the sign saying exit here. Okay, now take a left and find the beautiful garden that's there, or the library full of profound knowledge and wisdom. So that's what I have to say about it, is get ready to tune your station to something that will blow your mind in a good way, and open your heart and take all those old, toxic, smelly, stinky, low density emotions out of your holographic transportation device known as your human body, out of the way, and things will unfold. You don't have to worry about how do I do it, what's next, where's my next left turn. It will come to you telepathically in your heart, through synchronicities. Teachers will arrive when the student is ready.
Discovering the authentic self.
Always been here. It's always been hardwired into our reality. These teachers have always been trying to communicate with us. Ancestries, if you want to call it that. The guys upstairs. We have to tune our stations. We just have been tuning to staticky channels that weren't the stations, giving us the spiritual evolutionary, soul evolutionary guidance. But that is not the case anymore. Those channels are beaming. Those road signs are visible. And for everyone who's ready, it's a choice. It's a choice.
Well said.
Donna and Tolec both know it's free will here in this party. And so anybody that doesn't want to evolve, they want to cling to their 5,000 copies of Playboy or drugs, sex, and alcohol, or whatever. Those addictive experiences are just distractions, whether it's shopping for new high heels, getting your, next boob job and your fingernails painted and your hair dyed. That's all okay. You can do that too. So it's a choice. What do I tune into? Am I going to do the spiritual work? It is a good thing. Just like it's a good thing to exercise and eat right for the physical body, it is a good thing to do certain things for the spiritual and emotional body. And
well said.
Yeah. And so if you seek, you shall receive. That is a cosmic law.
Yeah. For those people who decide to make the choice and the choices to self-cleanse, to improve, to transmute, if you will, old programs that have been carried down from one life to another that don't work anymore. But you're right. It's definitely about making conscious choices. I think the other thing that we should do is to know that we don't have to do it all ourselves. And I'm speaking very generally here, so I'll be specific. There are family members and guides, whether you want to call them people in the angelic realm or whatever terms that people would like to use and are comfortable with, they are there specifically. It is part of their role, part of their work for, if you will, for them to move the pieces around on the board for us so that we don't have to do all the work. All we've got to remember to do is ask for help. And if we're sincere and serious about those things that we want to help with, they'll step in. Donna, don't you have some thoughts about how our, if you will, family members and guides have stepped in from time to time whenever we ask for help?
Well, that's one of the things that our guides, in this case, in my case, the Star family, are excited about is that they're waiting for me to say, I'm ready. I want to make the contact with you. But it has to start off with my grandmother first. Why? Because I'm familiar with my grandmother. When I was 12, when she passed on, she came back to be my telepathic teacher. So I am familiar with her presence, her energy, her vibrations. That's close to home, that's dear to my heart. And we started out that way. It wasn't until my mid-30s that I'm in contact with my Star family. That was my next step. So they had to do it gradually so that I can be able to understand and be ready for that communications. And yes, it takes choice. I had an experience this afternoon, by the way, which is no accident at all. It's all pre-planned prior to my lifetime here. There was a young couple in their 20s came to pick up some of the dog beddings and stuff that they need for their dogs. And she had asked me, you're going to be talking on a talk show. And I said, well, what are you going to talk about? And I said, well, I'm into paranormal and we're hearing aids, so I developed other gifts, the gift of telepathy. And she said, wow. She said, I'm going to talk to you later. I'm going to meet up with you later. I want to have what you have. I said, everybody can have telepathic communications with their guides. They just have to want it. They just have to be in a position of, I'm making this choice and I am ready emotionally, mentally to have this contact with my guides and my teachers. And so this young lady and her partner is coming back to visit me one day so that I can be able to help her and him, if he wants to develop that communications with their guides.
Deep in the heart of Texas.
That's right, deep in the heart of Texas. I was really amazed and surprised about this fact. I see, never say never. You know, you never know who you're going to meet up with that needs your help. And be open to it.
Or that comes to help me, you. It's amazing.
It is amazing. Amazing journey.
I've been exposed to some really gifted people here in the Sedona area of many ages. I've been astounded at how, if you will, awake people are here. And it's happening at a pace faster than I would have expected. And the profound knowledge that I'm hearing from some people is coming out greater than I would have expected. It's a great time it's a great time to be here. It's a great time to be on planet, to watch this evolution.
You know what they say, there's nowhere to go but up.
There's a lot going on. I am also excited because 2019, I have learned not only for myself, from my star ancestry clients around the world, the changes are so fast that, it's hard to keep up with all of the new things that are coming into the picture for these people's lives. And 2019 is definitely different in energy patterns than it was in years previous. So I am looking forward to see the transformation of the people and the planet.
This may very well be a good place to wrap up this phenomenal conversation, because if we kept going, I think this could go another 2 hours. So for those people who have not met or heard of Adana, Adana's website is starancestry.com. And she provides, well, instead of me telling them, Donna, tell people what you do through your star ancestry service.
Okay. My Earth mission at this point is to provide the people with basic, premium plus basic, and Earth mission reports. It's basically talking about their reconnection with their star families and who they were in the other dimension, what they did, who their families are. The Earth mission talks about basically about their lives here on Earth, what they will move into, whether it's a change of career, whether it's going into creating a spiritual workshop. It just depends on each person. And so far, since 2.5 years ago, I've had over 1,300 clients from 50 plus countries around the world. They have awakened and wanted to know where they came from and why they're here. What's their purpose for their lives being here on this planet. It's been really a learning experience for me and an amazing journey in terms of the changes that comes over the people. They say, wow, I finally have a home. I'm no longer lost, so to speak.
Yeah, great description. Cheyenne, you are going to be hitting the road soon. To the degree that you'd like to reveal what you're going to be doing, go ahead. And then also tell people what soulevolved.com will be about and the services you'll provide there.
Well, Soul Evolved is a new adventure for me. You're going to be able to schedule sessions with me. I work remote by Zoom or telephone. I have been an energy practitioner in energy healing modalities for myself and others for many, many years. But that's been a side study and interest. Recently, those been gotten a memo from upstairs. And so my job is to assist people to remove the blocks to reconnecting with their authentic self and to delve into that giant aspect of themselves in the psyche that is typically not known through very gentle and careful means of removing trauma and emotional blocks and physical. So I use holistic energy work. And I have also started pairing that with regression hypnosis therapy, I have 46 hours with the wonderful teacher Peter Woodbury, and I'm on a road trip to go back and get more. I'm going to get my level 2 certification. So watch for my website to come out. I will be writing, blogging, posting, and allowing folks to connect with me through that portal, and we'll just see where it goes.
Fantastic. So for myself, Tolec for the Andromeda Council and Transformational Shift events, Adana of Star Ancestry, Cheyenne Stone of soulevolve.com. Thank you everyone for listening. You will have an opportunity to meet us and see us in person and have whatever you'd like to have with us. The last weekend of September 2019, the fourth annual Transformational Shift Events Conference. And it is international because we have people that fly in from around the globe. We usually get people from 7 or 8 different countries and people from all across the U.S. And it'll happen at the Creative Life Center this year.
And where is that?
And that is in Sedona, Arizona, beautiful Sedona, Arizona, last weekend of September. And I've not started to sell tickets yet, but I will begin to sell tickets for this conference this month, in the month of March. So you can kind of look at either the AndromedaCouncil.com website and or the Transformational Shift Events website for tickets should you wish to join us. You know what? I'm not going to speak for them. Adana, Cheyenne, you've both been at my conferences. What do you think? You think that we reach people and make a difference in their lives?
Absolutely. Absolutely. I've had people come up to me and said it changed their lives. I mean, it made a big 360-degree turn for them. Overall, in all of the speakers that were there, they felt like they were one-on-one with, answer question sessions. They loved the panel discussions.
Thank you for bringing that up, because we're going to be doing a lot more of that this year. There are going to be a lot more panel discussions. It's going to be much more interactive than in the past. And I'll take this one moment briefly to say that this will be an especially international event because of our friends Dan and Cherie Baghetti, who created the pathway for us to meet Dr. Marie Batchelor and David Still, author of It's Our Earth 2. And those two beautiful Australian people will be the two keynote Australian people at this conference. So to say that this is going to be a fun, lively conference would be an understatement.
I can't wait to see all of our Australian friends. They are so much fun to be around with.
Yeah, and they're absolutely looking forward to joining us. Cheyenne, you will have your own speaker slot this year. You will be presenting. I'm sure people are going to get an earful.
Well, I will install a buzzer to keep myself on a leash. Excellent. I look forward to it. And everyone I've talked to that have been to your events have described them as a transitional. Donna took the words out of my mouth. Pivotal transitional event for them that spurred them, in new arenas and new aspects of their lives, and left them wanting more.
You know what? That's always a good thing. And you were, God bless you, woman. You were there for the beginning in 2016.
I try not to think about that.
Yeah.
It's part of my trauma release code that I run for myself. Yes.
Very well. Well, it was my first one, so you were there for the ride, and many
I'm
things.
just joking.
I know. Yeah, we're good friends here.
Hey, we survived that. We'll be friends forever.
Yeah.
I don't know how we did survive that, but we all did.
Well, it was kind of like, and I did this, and I've chosen to do this intuitively ever since. there's never any particular method to the speakers that I've chosen for the conferences. The idea is to bring together a collection of people who have a variety of enlightened experiences that can hopefully open new doorways, shed new light on new ways of living and being that people can learn about. My primary motivation, and the speakers, every single speaker is important in his or her own right, but it's actually the bringing together of people from around the country and those from other countries that they kind of they have an opportunity to meet, if you will, sisters or brothers they've never met before. There are new friendships that are struck. I'm always amazed at what I see whenever I can walk around and observe what's going on, and just the smiles and the laughter. It's really rewarding for me to watch that happen and watch it all evolve, from Friday to Saturday to Sunday.
Well, I'm so grateful. I would have never found my star siblings had you not put yourself out there that way. So,
yeah,
I agree also that the reunion of our star families among Earth people is what's so exciting about people coming together, and yet they are all at different levels of learning experiences, different levels of belief systems. That's what amazes me, how you bring all these people together, and with the different speakers in their different fields of interest, that they could connect to and open up, as you said, the doorway to even greater understanding and greater involving awareness in their higher consciousness level in their physical human body. So that really amazes me. And the people are so happy that they feel like
yes,
that they fit in with this experience, with the audience, with each other. They found each other and make that connection to even going home, having the names of those people that they want to connect to further.
Yeah, absolutely. I find that it's, at least for me personally, rewarding to walk around and watch the conversations and smiles on their faces, and the joy, the heartfelt joy that they're each tapping into as they sort of rediscover sometimes themselves, because for some of these people that have never been to a conference like this before, I would imagine it is life-changing. It's heart-opening, probably more than anything else. So rather than try and describe it, I'll just send out the general invitation to anyone that's listening. Please feel free to join us. We have a great time together, and it's all about connection and I guess taking life to the next level. So I'm going to wrap. This has been a fantastic conversation. We ought to do this again. Donna, you and I used to do these a lot, and we've both been very, very busy in our lives, all of these changes. This is going to be a pretty interesting year. I know that for me in my own life, 2019 is going to be very, very different because I'm having to fly back east in a couple of weeks. Mom is 87. She's going to turn 88. And all the indications is she's not going to be on planet much longer. So this is going to be a change of magnitude for our own family. So
it'll be a transformational shift for everyone in your family.
Yeah.
In your Earth family.
Well said. Yeah. So it's
challenging.
It's challenging.
May it be a graceful transition.
Yes, for her, I hope so. She's really ready. She's been talking to Dad, who passed 10 years ago. She's talking to Dad a lot these days. She's out of her mind, and her body more than she's in it. So it looks like she's getting ready to leave. And I wish her a very, very peaceful transition, without a doubt. Yeah. So thank you for the two of you for joining us. And Cheyenne, I wish you a safe trip and a happy and fun trip as you hop in your car and traverse the country.
We'll be driving and working and driving.
Mm-hmm.
I'll see you, sister, in Houston area down in the hot, not Houston, but the hot of Texas. And
you two girls have a margarita on me or something.
And thank you so much, Tolec. It was a hoot.
Yeah, always is.
Yes. And
All
again,
Thank you, brother.
You're very welcome. So until we all talk again next time, many, many blessings, and thank you for joining us. Take care.